So hey guys, welcome to the beginning of the ADC SolidWorks tutorial. I'm going to be showing you guys how to model a fuselage to start off with. So open up SolidWorks and then go to the home up here and open up a new part right there to open up a new part, and you should see a screen something like this. I'm going to start by just showing you how to do a very basic fuselage, and then we're going to get into slightly more complicated ones that are more aerodynamic. So to start off with, go to your front plane and hit on the sketch tool. Then you're going to go to this center rectangle. If this isn't what it's on currently, you can go to this little arrow here and get the center rectangle like this. Click on the center, the origin, pull out to a specified distance. Now go down here, just change your units to millimeter gram second if that's not what it's already on. And then when you smart dimension it, by clicking on smart dimension, clicking on the length, dragging out, it will then be automatically in millimeters. I'm going to just go with 35. This is just demonstration to show you. Awesome, that's all good. And then you can go to features, extrude boss base. Let's say I want to make this 800 millimeters long. And there we go. We have a fuselage. That's obviously very simple, very straightforward. Box-shaped fuselage, but that is the most basic things you can do in SolidWorks. And now I'm gonna recap a bit and show you how to do a slightly more advanced fuselage. So I'm just gonna delete all of this stuff. For this advanced fuselage, we're going to involve having several different planes, and then doing a loft between them. So I'm just going to start by renaming this plane to make it obvious what it is. So this is going to be where the nose of the airplane is going to go. So I'm going to call it nose plane. That just is useful when you're doing more complicated SolidWorks models to have in your feature tree over here them labeled. So this is the nose plane. Now I'm going to go to Insert, Reference Geometry, Plane. I'm going to make this 150 millimeters offset from the nose plane, and I am going to hit go there. Now I'm also going to go and rename this end of taper. I'm going to call it like end of taper plane. End of taper plane. These names are kind of arbitrary. Just it gives you a feel for what it is. So I'm going to just do this 2 more times, inserting reference geometry. I want my first reference to be this, and I'm going to say make it 400 off there. Got this, and you see our nose plane. Let's just make it visible like this. So we've got nose plane, edge of taper plane. Plane 2, I'm going to rename to start of tail plane. Start of tail. These just indicate different parts in the overall aeroplane fuselage. So that's that. And then I'm going to go to the final plane. So I'm going to go insert, reference geometry, plane. I'm going to make the reference the nose plane. I'm going to make it 800. And I'm going to call this guy tail plane. So I'm going to go to rename tail plane. I just realized when I was doing this for this one, for the second one, I'm actually going to edit the feature and I'm going to define it rather than a distance from the end of taper. I'm going to define it from the nose and make it, instead of 400, 500, so that then they're all defined from distances from this original point. Just makes it clearer for future. Okay, so now we've got these 4 planes: the nose of the plane, the end of the taper, the beginning, where the taper is, it's going to end here. It's going to be a smooth portion until the start of the tail, and then this is for the tail. So now I'm going to draw a sketch just like we did before on the first one. It's going to be a bit smaller than we did for the original demonstration. I'm going to make this 30 by 30. Again, do whatever you decided in your design, but I'm going to do a bit smaller because we are going to be getting bigger later. That's the whole point of doing something more complicated like this. We're allowing ourselves to do a taper, which means we can start smaller and get wider. So this is the second plane, and I'm going to make this one wider. So again, smart dimension, click on here, and I'm going to make this one 35, like what we had in our other example, 35 millimeters. Awesome. Exit that sketch. Third one, I'm going to make the same. I'm going to make this, the rectangle on here, 35 by 35 square. You'll get the hang of this. It's when you've done it lots of times, it becomes very quick. So that 35 and this also 35. Correct. Exit sketch. And then the final one, now this is for the tail. I'm going to make this one a fair bit smaller because to improve aerodynamics, we want to have it tapering towards the tail. You will see what this looks like when we come, oops, what did I just do? You'll see what this looks like when we come to doing our loft. But I'm going to make this one 20 by 20, just a bit smaller. And again, these parameters are up to you. Okay, cool. That was a square. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to now go exit that, exit that. I'm going to go by clicking on the F button on your keyboard, it sort of maximizes, makes it sort of full screen. So that's nice if you're ever not entirely sure where all your parts are. Click on the F like this, and it will rotate it so that you can fully see everything. Also, by scrolling in and out with the scroller on your mouse, so you can zoom in, zoom out, and if you hold down on that the scrolling part of your mouse, you can rotate it like so. I'm going to go full screen again, and now I'm going to show you guys how we can use these sketches to make a 3D model. So I'm going to use the lofted boss base feature. In the features, lofted boss base. Now the profiles I want to select are our 4 rectangles that we created, and it's important that you click the same part of each rectangle. For example, if I didn't click the same part, I'm clicking this side here and this side here, you see you get like a twisted, see how this is twisted? So you don't want to do that. I'm going to clear these selections. You want to select the same part. So I'm going to go for the top right corner of all of these rectangles. Now you see it's straight. This one, I'm going to go for the top right corner as well. And this one, the top right corner. Now I'm going to click cool and then full. And now you see how this is more of a plane. I'm also going to go and rename these sketches so that if anyone else was looking at this model, they know exactly what it is. So for sketch 2, I'm going to just call this the nose sketch. I'm going to call them like what they say here, their sketch referring to each plane. So for this one is going to be nose sketch. Then for sketch 3, I'm going to go and call it end of taper sketch. End of taper sketch, because you see we've got this slight taper here. This is kind of where it ends and flattens out. Then you get to the tail. Sketch 4, I'm going to call start of tail sketch. And then for sketch 5, I'm going to call it the tail sketch. And again, this is just useful when you're working on something like this as a group, as you are. It means that if someone else was now to look in here, they'll be able to see exactly what these are. I'm also going to go and rename this loft to Fuselage loft. So now if someone else from your team who say didn't make this was looking at this, they'd be able to see, oh, these planes, that's exactly what this is. And oh, this is the loft for the fuselage. You click on it. Oh, and this is very self-explanatory. Makes it simpler. It's a good practice to get into as you go to make more complicated designs. Okay, so this is the basic shape of our fuselage, as you can see. I'm going to show you, if you press the space bar, it will then let you choose your orientation. So if I want to look from the front, I can go like this. So if you're ever not exactly sure like what orientation you're looking at, go to space, and then you can be like, oh, I want to look like this. Or it's just a good way to sort of find exactly where you're at. There's one last thing I want to show you guys before we end this tutorial, which is how to define the material, because obviously one of the points of modeling an aeroplane is to get its center of mass. And in order to get the center of mass, you need the volume and the dimensions, but also the density, and the aircraft's mass. So right click on here. Yours will probably say unknown material or something like that. I've already customed it, but I'm going to show you how to do it. So right click here, click on edit material. Now see here, there on the left, there's going to be a bunch of different options. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to custom materials, plastic and you're going to want to create your own. I've already made one called pink foam. But here, name it pink foam because that's what this fuselage will likely be created out of. And then you can define your density. The density of the foam we're using is approximately this 3 times 10 to the minus 5 kilograms per centimeter cubed. Obviously, if you were making it out of a different material, you could just edit this and then just go down here to the apply, and you should be able to see up here that it's now saying pink foam, saying close. And the awesome thing about this is when you go to evaluate mass properties, here it will tell you how heavy it is, 26.35 grams, and also your center of mass is here, which is really useful, especially the center of mass, which means you can plug into XFLR5. That's part of the point of going through this process. There's a chance that some of you guys, instead of going for a foam block fuselage where you carve out holes for electronics, you may go for a foam board design where you effectively glue foam boards together to create a box shape. If you go for that type of design, you will need to slightly edit your sketch, but an easy way to do this would just to use the shell feature, and this will hollow it out. So if you go for that, then don't forget to shell your feature, because if you're going to be making a hollow plane, you want your SolidWorks to reflect that in the weight in the center of mass. Also, obviously, you will need to use a different density if you're using a different foam. But I think that concludes this tutorial on how to make your basic fuselage. Don't forget to save it. I've already saved it, but you can go either Control S or File, and then if you go Save As, it will give different options here. Make sure you save it somewhere smart, call it a sensible name. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, but you guys know how to save a file. Keep this somewhere that all your teammates can access if you're going to be sharing files. But yeah, that's basically how you create a fuselage. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.